There's this gentleman by the name Julius Karanja, and I really hated him. Like, I really hated Julius Karanja. He was my college roommate in 2012, and I didn't like him, not because he had snatched my girlfriend Maggy away from me. No. Julius Karanja and I had been roommates for almost 3 years. And despite being my roommate, he was also my very, very good friend. Actually, my best friend. So our story dates back to the good year of 2011. Actually, 2011 December, and spills over to the early months of 2012. So Julius and I were very tight. He was my friend. And never ever did I think at all costs that he would betray our friendship by taking away the woman that I'd truly, truly loved. I didn't think he knew so much what my girlfriend Maggy meant to me. And by the mere fact that he had been luring her behind my back, sexual advances on her every time I was away, made me really, really lose trust in this thing called friendship. So Maggy and I met when I was a first year. I was doing my diploma in nursing in one of the nursing colleges in Eldoret. And from the onset of our relationship, I knew that Maggy was the perfect woman for me. Maggy was a very brilliant and beautiful woman. She was the embodiment of beauty, and in her everyday deeds, in the words that came out of her lips, you knew that this was truly the best woman for me. And our relationship kicked off in a very beautiful love story, and we were very optimistic of spending the rest of our lives together. We were young at love. We were excited on the prospects that love would bring to in our young adult life. So most of the time I spent bonding with Maggy. She used to come and visit me at our college hostels. She would meet my roommates, Julius Karanja being one of them. Never ever did I think that my girlfriend Maggy would entertain the advances of my roommate. Never. And to date, I'm still shocked on how much he had emotionally betrayed me. So I later learned that every time I was out of the school compound, every time I was out of college, either for field work or our occasional industrial attachment, Maggy and Julius would, spend time together and, bond and do all those kind of, what cheats do, all these, and they covered their affair so well I could not detect. But finally, when I got wind that they were having a thing and they would meet behind my back, when I finally realized that she was cheating on me, I called it quits. I said no, to hell with women, to hell with these people called friends. I decided to do life alone. I was so heartbroken because when you are young at love and you experience such high voltage betrayal, you become truly, truly defeated. And that was the kind of pain that I was in, my good people. So I said I would never have anything to do with women. I would never get to call anybody my best friend. I decided to focus on me. I decided to focus on my nursing career and to get something out of my life. And to be honest, I avoided women the same way you avoid vegetables at the end of the month. I did not like the prospect of being in anything called a relationship because that particular breakup with Maggy and that betrayal with my roommate Julius had left me so dry. And to be honest, fast forward, everything started showing up for me. After 2 years, my nursing career had been fulfilling. My heart that had hardened began getting newer perspectives on love. I began, traveling around Kenya, channeling my energies to something else. So I remember at the beginning of the year 2014, I received a letter from Karen Hospital. I was being asked to go there for my pupillage, industrial attachment, so that I could be absorbed as a medical practitioner in that particular hospital. At the time that this letter was coming, I was attached to one of the hospitals in Eldoret town, and the prospects of relocating to Nairobi from Eldoret to expand my career horizon was very, very exciting, my people. I was looking forward to meeting new people, exchanging experiences, and just reeling into the desiderata, going through the years gracefully and picking all that life has to offer me. About my ex-girlfriend, Maggy, and my ex-roommate, Julius, rumors had it that they had also relocated to Nairobi, and they were actually living together in one of the homes that were owned by Julius' parents. I also heard that Maggy was expectant of their first kid. I didn't care. I had long moved on. Life was beginning to show me its brighter side, and I didn't care about them. I had begun to heal. So my good people, I remember that particular day that I was leaving Eldoret and relocating to Nairobi. I was at Eldoret International Airport by around 8:30 a.m. in the morning. I had a 45 minutes flight to Wilson Airport, and then I would go straight to Karen Hospital to report as an entry-level nurse. The usual check-in process at Eldoret International Airport was pretty smooth. There were quite a lot of people who were traveling to Nairobi via air, so the process was very smooth. The custom guys were very friendly and easy, and within 25 minutes we had gotten into the Airbus ready for our 45 minutes flight. So when I got to my seat that I had booked in that particular plane, there was a lady that was seated next to me, and she seemed that she was like she was in her 50s. And because I was going to be her seatmate for the next 45 minutes, I had the decency to drop a hi, just to, basic courtesy. So I told her hi, and she was on her tablet. She was doing something on a tablet, and she waved back hi. And, we proceeded to buckle up and the usual flight formalities. So because I was very tired, I had not slept the previous night preparing for this journey, I decided to take a nap through the flight so that when I got to Nairobi, I would have some little energy left to rush to Karen for my admission at the hospital. I remember I had just started drowning deep into my nap when I felt a very soft touch on my shoulder, and the lady who was seated next to me was waving her tablet on my face. She was telling me that, hey, she's having a little problem with her internet updates on the tablet, and I should assist her if at all I knew how to navigate updates on things like tablets. And I was like, yo, why not? I mean, I was young, I had a thing for tech, so it was quite simple for me to, juggle around internet updates and all that. And within 3 minutes, her tablet was okay. She was very grateful. She later told me her name was Annabelle, and we struck a conversation. My good people, we spoke about weird stuff. We spoke about politics. We spoke about weather. We spoke about sports. We also spoke about how the economy was very difficult and young people were, drowning in suicide. And she got very impressed with my young, flourishing career in clinical medicine, and she passionately told me how the youth would emulate me and, you know, forget drugs and, you know, do their bit in building their careers. And our conversation was very decent. I learned that she was Annabelle. She introduced herself, and she told me that she had just celebrated her 50th birthday a week ago, and she had been at Eldoret for 2 weeks to inspect some construction of one of our estates there. And now she had done with the inspection. She was now going back to Nairobi to join her family. It was a very candid conversation, my people, and at some point she narrated to me that her husband had died 3 years ago. The guy had sadly passed on a plane crash when he was abroad, and ever since she had been alone. She told me that after the death of her husband, who she had loved so much, she had lost, her life had lost its color, and Annabelle had spent pretty much the last 3 years managing her late husband's vast estate. She also told me she had 2 children, and both of them had finished college and they were doing businesses in Nairobi. One thing that I noted, my people, with Annabelle during this particular flight is that the more she spoke about the times she shared with her late husband, the more she got emotional, and at some point she even became teary. I could see tears lingering on her eyes, my good people. And how best do you know, comfort a 50-year-old wealthy woman, a wealthy stranger on a flight who's about to break down? I'd never really gotten myself to such a situation. So I kept on rubbing her back and telling her everything was going to be okay. And, you know, God is the one who gives life, and he's the one who takes it away. All honor and glory goes back to him. And that everything that happens in this world happens with a reason, and all those kind of comforting shebang. And every time I spoke these words to her, I saw that the kind of relief that kept on coming into her, and I realized that this lady had been lonely. This lady had been fighting the shadows of loneliness, and truly, psychosocially speaking, she needed somebody. So I kept her, rubbing her back and, you know, giving her all these nice words, and I told her that in the fullness of time, life would bring back color into her, and she needed not to worry. I remember after 15 minutes into this conversation, we got into a very long, tight and warm hug with this 50-year-old Annabelle. And the tightness to which, the grip to which she had held me during that hug told me a lot of things. It showed me that this one needed somebody, and this one was very lonely, and this one was very wealthy, and her life was empty. And my good people, make no mistake, what on planet Earth was I going to do with a 50-year-old rich woman? Nothing. When Maggy, my girlfriend, had cheated on me with my best friend Julius Karanja, I had lost perspective about women. I had completely shut them out of my life. But this particular submission of emotions and grief by this particular lady on this plane began softening my heart and giving me that particular, you know, sense of belonging. And that particular hug with this grieved lady softened that particular inner core in me that for the longest time had rejected women. And the hug was pretty long, I think 3-4 minutes, and I told her that anytime she needed somebody to speak to, anytime she needed somebody to share perspectives with, share, exchange experiences with, I was only a phone call away. And I remember 50-year-old Annabelle asking me, Socrates, do you really promise to be there for me at a time but I need somebody? And I was like, yes, I promise. I don't know if I said yes subconsciously or I truly meant it, but I remember promising this lady that I was going to be there for her. So it's at this deep silence and this deep moment of connection, psychosocial connection with Annabelle, and sharing this particular life experience with her, that we were brought back to reality when the hostess announced that we were already on the Nairobi skyline, and anytime, any minute from that particular point, we would be landing. So she asked us to buckle up, sit upright, because the plane was now getting into the Wilson airspace. We exchanged contacts with Annabelle. I told her that immediately I'd gotten my stuff straight at Karen, we would meet the following weekend for coffee and catch up and, you know, continue with whatever this thing that had started at this particular airport. I remember it's at that moment that we exchanged a very warm, long, and wet, and very sudden kiss that left me so confused. The kiss was so sudden, and that particular kiss from 50-year-old Annabelle invoked something in me that had died a long time ago. My desire to belong to somebody else. My desire to be called somebody's man. My desire to share passion and compassion and empathy with a woman. And I can tell you that kiss, however much it was sudden, it was so real and it was so full of emotional connection. I said I wasn't going to be confused in this airport. I told her, hey, as we were now disembarking from the aeroplane, I told her, hey, for the interest of time, let me rush to Karen hospital. I get my registration right, then I'm gonna call you, then we're gonna link up for coffee. And she was like, that's okay, that's fine with her. She can't wait to see me again. And at that particular moment, my good people, I felt like a complete man. Now, it's at that particular point when she was going to the airside where there are usually taxis parked so that she can pick her own taxi and go home. I decided to pick one of the airport transfers that was waiting for me. So it's at that time that we were hugging each other goodbye that we had the people that had come, her people had come to actually pick her. We heard from behind that, hey, mommy, welcome back home. We had missed you. And that is when she turned and she introduced them to me. And she told me, hey, Socrates, meet my firstborn son, Julius Karanja, and his fiancée, Maggy. My good people, that is when I came in full sight of my ex-girlfriend, Maggy, and my ex-roommate, Julius, who had betrayed me. And apparently Julius was Annabelle's firstborn son.